Hello all, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to talk about Jupyter Notebook. What is Jupyter Notebook? Yes, you guessed it right. It is where we are going to execute our Python code. Jupyter Notebook is a very powerful open source tool that is used for interactive computing. So when we talk about Jupyter Notebook, we cannot skip Anaconda. Anaconda is a distribution of Python that includes various packages and tools commonly used in data science, machine learning, and scientific computing. Anaconda includes the Jupyter Notebook as one of its pre-installed tools, making it easier for its users to use it right away. While Jupyter is managed by Project Jupyter, which is a completely different entity compared to the Anaconda, Anaconda includes Jupyter Notebook as a part of its distribution, making it readily available for Anaconda users. Let us get into the video and understand more about Jupyter Notebook, how we can start coding in our Jupyter Notebook, and how it is very simple and easily documentable process through Jupyter Notebook. Let us look at more of what is Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook is a web-based interactive computing environment for creating notebook documents. It allows us to create, edit, and share documents that contain live code, data visualizations, equations, and explanatory text all in a single document. This this Jupyter Notebook does not just support Python, but it supports various other languages. It is used for data visualization purposes, and also it provides Markdown support. Markdown support is basically used for documentation of whatever code has been executed. We explain what the code does in the document right in between the code in this Jupyter Notebook. It is very easy to share, as you can just download the Jupyter Notebook file and you can share it with your fellow coders. And also it also supports various extensions. We will look at all this when we open our Jupyter Notebook from our system and execute code in it. We have now opened the Anaconda Navigator. In Anaconda Navigator, we see this Jupyter Notebook tool. What we are going to do is we are going to launch this tool now. When we launch this tool, it opens the tool in the browser. What we are going to do now here is we are going to create a new folder. Let us put the modified date as few seconds ago. You see that we are going to rename this untitled folder. We will name it Python 3. And then we are going ahead and renaming it. We open this Python folder and then we are going to create a new Python 3 notebook. So once we create a new Python 3 notebook, we see that this is now a new Python notebook that has been created for our use. So as we see here, we have this blue bar, which means that currently this is in command mode. When it is in blue, it is in command mode. And when you click on it, it goes into the green mode, which means that you can go ahead and edit this line. So what we are going to do is, first, let us put a heading to our notebook. Let us put a hashtag, which means that it is a comment and that this will not get executed, as we have already seen in the Python syntax. What we are going to do is we are going to say that this is our first Python notebook. And then we hit enter. What we are going to do is to execute it, what we can do is we can run the cell here directly, or we can do a control enter. When you go into your keyboard and you click control plus enter, it executes the line of code. Now we are going to run it from here. See, when the code is run, it gives us this particular number, which means that this is the first line of code that got executed. It is also that you can go ahead and Click on here and you can edit this code and run it as many times as possible. Let us put another command. We will say new command. And what we can do is we can hit Control Enter, and then what it does is it has re-executed this code. See, now earlier it was 1, now it has come to 2, which means that this code has been executed. Since these both are commands, we don't see any input or output. There is one more way in which you can run a code, and you can use Shift Enter to run the code and create a new line. When you do Shift plus Enter, it runs the code and creates a new line. It runs the code and creates a new line. So you can create as many new lines as possible and run the current line using Shift Enter. So what we are going to do now is we are going to do the basic standard input and output. How do you do basic standard and input and output? As we have already seen in data types, we can introduce as many data types as possible. For input, we can go ahead and input a particular value into a variable. So what shall we do? Let us now ask the very simple program out there, that is name. We go ahead and write name and we say input of enter your name. Now what we are going to do is we are going to hit Shift Enter. It is asking us to enter our name. We will go ahead and enter our name. And then once we do Shift Enter, we have already entered our name. So what is the name? We can go ahead and display our output as a name using the printf statement. We can type print and then we can say name. So this name is the name that that the variable we have entered over here. When we say print name, it prints Alice. Also, if you want to format it into another sentence, what we can do is print open f of, what do we say? We say my name is, and then we open braces and then we give the name here. And then we close this. Oh, we have a mistake. What is the mistake? This has to be given over here. So we see now the name Alice is incorporated into the F string. My name is Alice. As we already saw, when you open and open braces, like open quotations, it automatically gives you the closed quotations. This is a way in Python where you give one side of the braces and it will automatically print the other side of the braces. This helps us in understanding that Python helps you to not miss any closed braces when an open brace is already present unless otherwise explicitly removed. Okay, so this is one of the things about the coding. Now let us look at all the different widgets out here. For example, in file, we have a new notebook property where if you click it, you will have a new notebook. You can open the already existing notebooks using open. You can make a copy of this file and then you can save it as a particular name. What we will do is we can go ahead and save it here. Otherwise, you can also do Control S to save this file. Naturally, what happens is this gets saved as Python 3 code. For Python 3 is the file. In the file, we are going to say our first notebook. We have saved it now. And every time you do a save, it creates a checkpoint. And this allows us to go back on checkpoints. We can do an undo, we can do a redo. You can revert a checkpoint that was just now created using Control Save. We can do a print preview, and also we can download it in many different extensions that we have already seen. Primarily, usually it is download as an IPYNB file. This is a notebook file. This keeps all the details on the file that we have created as it is. And then now what we are going to do is, we have seen the coding part of it. How do we do the documentation part of it? For documentation, we see this option over here, which is a markdown. When we do a markdown, we see that the line, the IN and the bracket and the number has now disappeared. This is now simply for documentation. This is for documentation. When we do a shift enter, see, it does not come in between these in between the rectangle, but it comes as a separate one, which means that this is a documentation line of code. You can go ahead and edit this documentation by double clicking it, and we say adding new details, and then you do shift enter and it gets added over here. There are many things that you can do. You can insert bullets into the file. You can put it in bold. You can put it in italic. You can do any kind of a documentation that you usually do in a notebook. But there are a few limitations, and there are a few ways in which you can do that. Next, we see at the edit tab. Here we can cut the cells. Using X, we can copy the cells. Let us cut the cell. Let us say we are cutting this cell. You do a Control X, do an X, it cuts the cell. Next, what we do is we copy the cell. We use a C and we copy the cell. You click here and click C. Oh. You click C. This has copied the cell. Now what do we do? If we want to paste it above, we do Shift V. Let us do a Shift V. This has pasted the cell on top of the already existing cell. Next, we can do a paste below, which we can do using a V. Let us do it here so that we can see. When we do, not here, click here and do a V. This has pasted it below the cell. What we can do is paste and replace. We can paste it and replace the already existing cell. We can delete cell using a D. We are going to delete this cell using a D. DD. Using double D's, we can delete the cell. Now we will go ahead and delete this one as well. We have deleted the cell. And then we can split the cell using Control Shift and minus. We can undo deleting the cells using a Z. Let us do a Z. It has undone the deletion. And then you can move the cells up. You can move the cell down. Suppose we are trying to move the cell up. All you have to do is click on this, and then you have to click moving the cell up. This has now moved the cell up. Again, click move the cell down. It moves the cell down. And there are other things you can go ahead, like you can go and check every single one of these things that can be done in a Python notebook. And then in view, you can do a toggle holder. You can see a toggle toolbar. So this will hide the actions of icons, action icons, show, and you have the toggle line numbers. And then you have enter, insert, where you can insert a new cell above, you can insert a new cell below. If you click on here and then you say a B, it inserts a new cell below. If you click on this and then you hit a, it inserts a new cell on the top. And specific to cells, you can run the cell using a control enter. You can select the below cell, run the cell and select the one below using shift enter. You can run the cell and insert below using alt enter. You can run all the cells in the Jupyter notebook using run all. You can run all the cells above the particular cell that you have selected using run all above. And you can run all the cells below this particular cell that you have selected using cell run all below. We can see what kind of a cell type it is, if it is a code or markdown or raw NB convert. And you can see the current outputs, and you can see how we can do the toggle scrolling and toggle. In the kernel, when there are some infinite, if you are running a loop that is going on an infinite loop, then you can interrupt a cell by using the II. You can restart the cell using the 00. You can restart and the clear and output. You can restart and run all of them. You can reconnect and you can shut down your cell. In help, you will be able to see different references with respect to all the things that you can use in Python. You can go there, read about it, and you can come back here and code. We see this widgets tool. This is for saving. You click it, you save it. A checkpoint is created. You click on plus, you can insert a cell. When you click on the scissors, you can cut a cell. When you click on this, you copy the selected cell. And when you click on this, you paste the cell below. If you want to move the cell up, you use this. And if you want to move the cell down, you use this. You can run the cell using the run button. And you can stop the running of a cell using this button. You can restart the kernel using this button. And you can restart and run all the cells in the notebook using this button. So these are the few things that you need to know regarding how you can use a Python notebook. That's all for today's video. If you like that video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you have any comments, put it in the comment section. Share it with your friends and subscribe to our channel, Data Pulsar. Thank you. Bye bye.